Howdy, my darling Cancer. How are you doing? My name is SimplyVelca, and today I'm going to be doing your weekly tarot reading for the end of March 2023, going into April. Alright? But I have your Celtic cross already laid out here, but I want to be saying for you, well, yes, my tarot readings are going to be tapping into Cancer, your positive messages. What makes me different from other tarot readers here is like, yes, I can talk about the positive messages, but what good is in knowing what you're creating if you don't have the blueprint or the clarity and understanding how you go from point A to point B to point C. It's good to hear about the point Z, but let's hear about the steps before that so you can make this more of a reality. Right? So if that's of resonance to you, if I sound like your type of reader, Cancer, then just keep on watching, I suppose. So in this current point in time, Cancer, you have the Two of Pentacles in your current situation, as well as the 10 of Pentacles in your challenge position. The first thing that comes to mind, Cancer, is like, how bad do you want this? All right, how bad do you want this? You have such beautiful energy right now, Cancer, that is showing up in your life. It's showing up in your life in the sense of affirming messages. All right, it's showing up in your life of where it's like, well, while you finally took a stand and did some solid boundaries with people in your life, you are then getting affirmations from repetitive numbers, Cancer. While you have started entertaining and more thoughts that started popping up in your head of maybe starting your own business, starting social media or something. You've been noticing in your feed, your news feed, the media that you are consuming right now, Cancer, like the signs are coming up, like you're constantly getting validations for every step of the way right now, Cancer. And I feel like because you have been in this place of where you've been juggling with a lot, Cancer, you probably have been in survival mode for such a long time that you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and getting a little bit of whiplash of trying to figure out like what you should do, what you should be working on. Cancer. All right, now your oracle card for this week is the Middle World. All right, so number 9 in numerology, representing the Hermit. I really do feel like for you right now, Cancer, is like you're going to be spending April in this place of going inward. But when I say inward, I mean, I feel like you've already done like the personal work, the self-reflection and all that. But I feel like you're going to be taking something that has been going on internally and you've been waiting for the right moment, and the right moment is here now. And either you feel it intuitively right now, Cancer, or just like your survival mode brain still is a little bit too active that it's making you blind from being able to see it. But you have this middle world energy where it's just like the heaven, like the divine and the physical reality are in perfect alignment. And so what this represents is the sense of just going forward and just doing it. You have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, Cancer, for this. You've been getting all these affirming signs, like the spiritual team that walks with you right now is very active here. Sure, in your past, you had that 5 of Wands, right? In your past, you were dealing with a lot of complications, a lot of obstacles. That's why your brain has been in survival mode, right? You're not crazy for thinking that, Cancer. And I'm also not going to be the tarot reader that tells you, like, oh, yeah, you had the obstacles, but what lesson? Like, we hear that a million times, Cancer, right? You understand that, right? I don't need to be another sound or another voice that regurgitates that type of perspective, because you understand it. It's easier to say it when you're not the one dealing with it, right? In your focus position, you're in this Queen of Pentacles, Cancer. You're in this place of where you're wanting things to be stabilized. You're wanting things to you're in this place of just no longer wanting to catch up anymore, Cancer. All right, and so I see you in this place of doing money moves. All right, I really, really do. If you choose to take action and take advantage of this middle world energy, because it's not going to be there forever, but if you choose to take advantage of it, Cancer, I see you, 3 of Cups, possibilities. This is a card of celebrations with good people around you, especially if you, Cancer, in your recent past, this is going to be for a specific type of Cancer from your sun, moon, or your rising. For a Cancer that has really recently had to let go of a lot, especially when it comes to friend groups. Maybe you ended up being phased out of a friend group, or you outgrew a friend group or a community. I feel like with further action here, you're going to be finding a group, but overall, just like stuff to be celebrating. When was the last time that you had a win to celebrate or a reason to celebrate, Cancer? You're going to be having a lot of those in the coming days here. All right, Knight of Swords in the near future. All right, and so this is why you need to listen up, Cancer. All right, by definition, the Knight of Swords represents like a lot of unexpected events happening in quick succession, kind of like a domino effect. All right, and so to have this in your near future, all right, which is a court card, by the way, so you can see court cards as people. So just as like I was talking about in the possibility position, all right, to have this be it's so powerful because of these two things, because you could have the unexpected events and you don't know if this is good or bad. It could be a lot of bad unexpected events, but because in the possibilities of you taking action, you can make these current neutral thing, a lot of things that are going to be neutral, be positive by the news, right? So the positive news that comes in, the victory that the Three Cups represents, but also leans into what I was saying for the specific subcategory of Cancers, of going into like that new, of attracting like more people of your tribe. Doesn't make sense, Cancer, right? So in your power position, Cancer, this is your energy. You have the Queen of Cups here, all right? You never lose sight of yourself. You always have a clear understanding of who you are and what it is that you represent, Cancer. And you never lose sight of your goals. And you've always stayed true to yourself, even though people might around you in your past might have said like, oh, you've changed, Cancer. At the end of the day, like, you have always been very in tune with yourself. And regardless of what people say to you, sure, you might have your low days where you feel insecure. That's very human, right? Especially when you're dealing with so many obstacles here. But in your heart of hearts, the one thing that no one can take away from you is the relationship that you have with yourself, Cancer. And I feel like you have such a beautiful relationship with yourself, and that's just going to further improve by the action you start taking, because you have a clean slate right now. The Fool card is in your environment currently, Cancer, which is represented by the number 0. That's why you see that right there, right? And so it's that clean slate of energy here. And then in your hopes and fears, you have the World card. I'm just now taking this on deeper here, Cancer. The World card is the final card of the Fool energy, of the Fool story, right? So it's the ending of one Fool's journey to begin a new one. So you're hopeful of a new chapter of your life. You're hopeful that you broke cycles, because there's something recently that you have overcome from your past with this Five of Wands. Like, you overcame a cycle, you overcame a pattern in your life. It could be multiple, breaking generational traumas, so on. Like, we could find out the list, all the things that you have maybe broken the cycle of, right? And you get the confirmation that it's real this time. This is in your environment, so you know that this is true, that Fool energy. What are you going to do now that you have ended the story, have completed a story rather? What is your next story going to be about? You are the author of this book, as corny as it sounds, Cancer. All right? And so your outcome position is you are healed. You don't make what happened in your past, the obstacles that you overcame, you don't make that your identity, but you use what you have overcome to give confidence in, to have confidence in yourself for what you do for your future. You know this saying like fake it until you make it, where people are waiting for, try to get their confidence from doing something for their future, right? They do stuff in their now to invest in their future. Like, their confidence is obsessed with like a future image of themselves, when really you should have your confidence based off of what you've come from, right? I'm confident in myself as a tarot reader because I have 16 years of spiritual experience, right? And so think about it in that way, Cancer. And I feel like you already are naturally going into that way. So me just hopefully like pushing this message here, and just, especially with cards like the Middle World, Cancer, hopefully this really inspires you for the future steps that you take here. All right. So let's see. Which steps should you take? Especially with this Pentacle Earth energy here, Cancer, I feel like especially when it comes to financial endeavors, 7 of Wands, 5 of Cups coming in here, Temperance energy, with the death card. Yeah. So Cancer, for you, you're going to be traveling. I see it's like you're either moving out of your hometown, or that's where your general trajectory is in this place of where you're moving out of a hometown, moving out of a lot of what you would have considered home. And I'm going to use that word loosely. Like, I feel like you're finally leaving the nest, and not leaving your nest with the sense of being like, all right, this nest that I'm leaving, it's still going to be home. I can come back to it. Like, I feel like you're leaving the nest and creating like your own nest, finding like your completely new environment and creating like a new home for yourself, for this new body that the Fool represents. Like, this is truly like a full embodied journey, right? Even when you look at the Fool, Cancer, and you see the Fool is only carrying just like what they can carry in that small bag, and they're familiar, their spirit guide, their spirit team there, Cancer, right? So you have a lot of things that you're closing off from. I really do feel like before the end of this year, Cancer, because I don't feel this obviously is not going to be happening overnight, but this is where your trajectory is, and by the end of this year, you're going to be looking like the Five of Cups in some sense, in a bittersweet way, of where you're looking at everything that you've come from and going into like a new life. Like, I really do feel like you're going to be having a drastic move. Like, you're not going to be living in the same hometown by the end of this year, Cancer. So that's the weekly tarot reading that I have for you today, darling. Hopefully something in here resonated, Cancer. If it did, let me know. Check out your sun, moon, and your rising if you do want a private reading with me. My one-on-one readings only come from my website, SimplyVelca.com. But yeah, I love you so much, Cancer. Bye, darling.